Intro.
Do you want me to start or do you want to start, Marissa?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Start.
Wait.
To her channel.
Oh,
She did really good, Marissa.
I know. I've got really high standards after that. Hey guys, I am Marissa and Michael. Hey guys.
I'm Michael Johnson. I'm Marissa and Michael Johnson.
Hey guys, we are the Johnsons with Living a Good Story, and we are here with Megan and Michael Knorpp with Knorpp and South. Now, Megan and I have been best friends since 4th grade, or 5th grade, it's debatable. And we've had really similar interests all throughout our life. Michael and I have been traveling full-time with our 4 kids for the last year, and Megan and Michael started traveling full-time about 3 months ago with their 9 kids. So their channel is super fun and exciting. You'll totally want to go check that out. What we're doing today is we're interviewing each other. So on our channel, we're going to be interviewing Megan and Michael, and then on their channel, they're going to be interviewing us. So be sure to go check out their channel. We'll leave links in the description and also little pop-ups right here for you to just easily get to their channel and the other interview. So let's get started.
All right.
Thanks so much, you guys, for being on. Just in case, woo, woo, yeah. Just in case the people on our channel, if they don't know you, will you guys just give us a quick little introduction about yourselves and what inspired you guys to start living this lifestyle?
So we already said our names, right? And all that kind of stuff. So Mike,
Do it
Megan
again.
Knorpp, Mike, Megan Knorpp, we're on the road 3 months now. So the Johnsons are old pros and we're still noobs at it. But we have 9 kids, and so it's a little bit interesting because of that. But yeah, what made us do this, Meg? Or you're the one who had the idea in the beginning, so you should.
Well, you know, I think we did an RV trip where we rented an RV for like a week, 2.5, 3 years ago. Yeah. And it was a blast. But we got we then thought, like, could we do this long term or at least do it for a few months? And we didn't think we could make it work. We thought,
no, we can't do that.
We had 6 kids at the time. Now we have 9, and we grew our family really quickly through adoption. So we thought, definitely now that we have 9 kids, there's no way to do an RV. Like, we can't even own one. We thought that was out of the picture for us. We knew there might be an RV big enough, but we didn't think we could drive around.
Yeah, there's issues with
a lot of things.
having a car fit everyone.
But we moved out to North Carolina. That's where we were living, and we had set aside a day each week that we called Family Fun Day. And it was really, we would drive anywhere within 2 hours and do like a field trip and a hike, visit a museum or a historical site. And that was our favorite day of the week. We were all happiest on that day. We looked forward and kind of lived for that day. The kids got along best that day. And so we were also starting to run out of places to go within 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, we had visited, we felt like everything within 2 hours after a year or so. And I read an article on road schoolers or world schoolers, because we were also homeschoolers. And the article just talked about how, everything that I believed in and that we were trying to do on Family Fun Day. And it was like, dude, why don't we do this? Is like, these are my people. I totally believe in experiencing the world and like getting out there. Why don't we do that every day? So I texted Mike and said, why don't we get an RV and just travel? Also, our lease was up.
Yeah. It was a time where we had to make a decision on where we're going to live.
So we were either going to buy a house in North Carolina or, but we just didn't know. And so it was like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's just figure out an RV and hit the road. And it's funny because we had talked about that for a while and been like, no, not what we're going to do. But yet that day when I texted you, you weren't against it, right?
Yeah, for some reason.
It just felt right. Yeah, it was just the right timing. So I think we do it to experience the world. Something I always wished I could have done growing up. But everybody lived a lot more traditionally then. We had jobs that Dad had to drive into, and there wasn't a lot of homeschooling going on when I was a kid. So we had all the, we were already homeschooling. We were already working from home and had complete time freedom. So it was like a no-brainer, really. Don't you think?
Yeah, it was a natural progression.
And plus, we paved the way for you
You guys, I can't stress that enough. Like, having Marissa on the road was immense for us. We were asking her so many questions, and I think Marissa found someone similar to do the same for her. And I think if you are going to do something like this, find someone to be your mentor, your guru. And people are totally willing to do it. We have found everybody in this community, whether it's traveling in an RV or just traveling full time, is totally open to sharing their advice and helping you figure out how to do it.
Whether you want or not.
No, it's a great community, and I say, you know, there's great groups that you can join on Facebook. They're all over the place, and really get help so that you're not making. I mean, really, Marissa and Michael saved us from tons of mistakes.
Yeah.
So
totally.
you don't want to do this,
Thanks,
you do want
guys.
to do this. So it was awesome.
Okay, so I want to hear how this has changed you guys and how you feel like it's changed your kids.
I'll do the kids, you do us, maybe.
Do us? Well, Megan and I had already been working together and spending a lot of time together before the RV happened. I think it has forced us to be, helped us grow in our patience level.
Still need to grow there.
We're still working on it, but I do think that I think I've gotten more patient. Maybe my kids would answer differently, but I feel like I've learned to, because it's a very small space for 11 people to move around in, and so that takes a certain amount of patience, because it's so weird that you can't actually walk through the RV without dodging someone or something the whole way. Which is it's kind of strange, and it is a little.
It's like you take all the activity in a normal size home, all the sounds that are being made, and compress it down.
Yeah.
Smells too.
Yeah, smells. It's so true. There's always smells, and you compress it all down so that all of your five senses are overwhelmed.
Yeah, because I remember when we did a little like test trip in the RV before we had actually done it, and when we were on our first night, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
No, we totally panicked.
Because it was like there's people everywhere. It's like this sea of humanity in our.
No, we
did.
Well, and actually, I think I panicked more when we moved into it. Like that first couple nights, I'm like, Michael, I can't do it. I'm completely, like, I felt like like I'd been pecked to death by chickens. You know, like it was just too much for our senses. So I think both of us our comfort tolerance. That's a good word. Has risen a lot.
So yeah, we don't pull our hair out every day, but
no, we do every day, but just not as many times a day.
Yeah.
And I think also we used to retreat a lot to our bedroom,
right?
And just kind of go into our part of the house, and everybody would kind of retreat, and which is nice, and I don't think that's necessarily wrong. But Marissa told us this would happen, or you guys did, that it would force you to deal with things that you used to just kind of walk away from and hide from.
With your relationship.
With certain relationships where, you know, like, oh, I'm just going to walk away from that. And so you can't do that anymore. I don't know. But as for our kids, I would say absolutely they've gotten closer. And I think it's natural that they would find someone in the neighborhood and spend all of their time with them. And they were gone. And they don't have that anymore. And they still interact with their friends through, you know, social media and the phones and stuff. But they play games together. They aren't looking for someone else to play with. They just expect they'll be playing with each other. So they've gotten closer. I think they've gotten more patient with each other in each other's foibles or weaknesses. I think also, and I really believe this to be true, and I'm excited about this, that we have taught our children, they don't even know there's a box. It took Michael and I a long time to think outside the box.
The box, okay.
Yeah, you know, to think like, we would meet people who were doing cool stuff. It was like, can you do that? I mean, I want to do that. I just didn't know you could do that. I don't think they have those same limits on themselves. Yeah. I think they just believe you do whatever you want and you figure it out. And I think that's awesome.
So yeah, I think going on this trip.
Like, yeah, we just do this and we just do whatever, you know, we just design our life instead of just feeling like, then I'll go from point A to point B to point C and not question it. So I think this has expanded their horizons. It's also expanded their horizons. They've seen we've gone from coast to coast.
Literally.
Yeah, like they know there's cool things everywhere and there's cool people everywhere. And I think as we continue to travel around the U.S. and maybe outside the U.S., That's my biggest hope for the travel, is that they will find value in other people and recognize, you know, I don't think I was an adult until I recognized that other people were living really important lives, doing really important things, and I knew nothing about it. You know, sometimes you think like, well, I've never heard of that. It can't be valid. But that's such a silly way to think. There's so many amazing things going on that have nothing to do with you and didn't need your permission and didn't even need to inform you. And I hope that that expands their worldview and helps them really love other cultures, other religions, and really have a compassion that can only come from that sort of interaction with travel in the world. That's a little heavy, maybe.
So, what are some of the best parts of living on the road? Some of the best things. I mean, these are good things I think we've already been talking about, but like, are there things that surprise you or things that you feel like are the best or what you look forward to?
Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to say this, and you may have something different.
You say this.
I'm going to say this.
It.
Don't stop me, Michael. I'm going to say this.
Preach.
Last night, the four of us went out on date night, and we went down to Cannon Beach. And if you're familiar with this area of the country, there's something called Haystack Rock. It's in Goonies. And I'd seen it in Goonies and thought it was so cool my whole life. It's a big rock out in the ocean. But there's something to be said for coming. We came over, we're walking down the street, we came over this little ridge, and there was Haystack Rock, surrounded by mist at its base, and then a bunch of like campfires on the beach around it. And it was, and I'm like even emotional now, it was incredible. And there's something like, it's like your eyes are drinking it in, that you would never see in a photo. It's like being, it feels almost sacred. And we've been at other places, you know, when we saw volcanoes, like Mount Rainier felt like you just see these massive pieces of ice, these cliffs of from the glaciers. There's something so magical and sacred about being in the space and seeing these wonders. And it also makes you feel a little smaller, but in a really cool way. Like you're lucky to be in the presence of these amazing, beautiful places. And we've seen that all over the place. Just, it feels so cool.
Yeah.
Even man-made things, even New York City, to see all those people and the park and the buildings, there's something, I think I live for those moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, there it is. Like you just feel like emotional. You got some crackers? Good job, Eve. You want to come show us?
Uh-oh, here she comes.
Okay.
Okay, well,
what about you, Mike?
Oh.
Well, I would say the same thing. Just being able to see different places and experience
So amazing.
different things. I mean, I think it's just still so exciting to us that we can do that and that we can go to those places and still have our same house.
He's never been disappointed. Oh, that's awesome, huh?
So that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice to have your own house.
That you're in some place completely different and yet your home is still the same.
And you're not living out of a suitcase, and you're not sleeping on a weird bed.
You didn't forget
pillows.
Your toothbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all in there.
It's
So
magical. I don't think I know the answer to this question, so I'm actually like wasn't prepared. It just
I probably gained like 15.
No, I'm wondering what your kids all thought, because you've got 9 kids with very different personalities, different backgrounds through adoption. Were there fears that came up with them? Were they all on board? Were they, you know, what did that look like? And how did you bring it up to them?
Well, we've always brought up lots of crazy ideas with the kids. So it wasn't new to like have a crazy idea.
So
like
did they
something
just
we're
like, oh, mom and dad have another crazy idea, it's never going to happen?
I think some of them felt that way. Like
Elijah said he did.
Yeah, like he didn't really think it was going to happen. Because we've talked about like, let's go live in Hawaii. Let's go live in, you know,
yeah, you guys
Italy
are dreamers.
Yeah.
We are. I don't recall anyone having any big...
I think Andrew had the hardest time. Andrew is our 11-year-old, and he's very social, has like a best friend, and they had made some serious life plans together. They're writing a book together. They were going to become best-selling authors this summer. They had all sorts of life plans, and so I think he's also a very goal-oriented kid, and so he had already kind of, well, my life is going to look just like this. This is where we're going to live. This is what my next summer is going to look like. And so that was a big shift for him. And you know, kids have to put a lot of trust in their parents, but I'm definitely a believer in it. And I've said this to our kids before, like, this is our life. We get to design our life now. And when you grow up, you get to design your life. And we are all in it for you guys. and we're definitely thinking of you and what's best for you and wouldn't do anything that we would think would harm you, but we're not also letting you design our grown-up life. And that's not I don't know, like...
You just said something controversial.
I know, I kind of did, but I do think that's really important. Like when I was a kid, it was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then sometimes you grow up and think, well, what do my kids want me to do? And I think it's important to show them, like, you live the life that you want to live, and when you grow up you can do the same. But most kids, they've never been alive before, they don't know, so everything's normal to them. So most of our kids were just like, sure, you know,
sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun, because you know, we mentioned we'll go to the beach, and we'll go, maybe sometime we'll go to Disneyland, you know, so they're like, oh yeah, we're in. But and Elijah,
that's
luckily,
when you got me into.
Yeah.
Minnie Mouse.
I know, man. I think Elijah was the one we, you know, definitely being the oldest. He was 14, almost 15 when we left, and the most socially interactive. But we had moved a lot, so our kids are really dynamic that way. We've moved a lot, and so he was excited. He was really excited to see the country too. So we were lucky that way. Yeah. But even if they had not been into it, I think we still would have done it.
Because eventually they would have been into it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our kids were not into it at all. But they love it and wouldn't pass it up, and you know, they wouldn't give it up.
Yeah, totally.
What experiences have become like epic for you?
Yeah. There have definitely been times that, you know, the YouTube channel helps a ton, because our kids go back and watch the videos. They love watching the videos, and because it's like looking at a photo album, you know, and reliving these amazing happy memories. And we're experiencing so many things in such a, you know, compressed amount of time. Usually you'll go to one place for the summer, and then the next summer you go to another place, and it's like back to back amazingness. And so we forget. Like we all forget.
That's true.
Because it's all so good, so you forget. So it's really fun to watch the videos. But I think we drove into New York State, and we wanted to go to the east side of Long Island, and the drive was horrendous. It was like a nightmare. And
don't do that if you have an RV. Stay on the New Jersey
We just thought
side.
like, how cool to go to Long Island and go stay out on the other end of the island and stuff, and which was cool once we got there. But that drive-in was legendary, and everybody still talks about it, and it's like
how bad it was.
How bad it was. And it was awful that day, but we were all experiencing it together. So we were all like, oh my gosh. And yeah, all sorts of bad things happened. We actually have a video on that. But I think that has become legendary. Every little thing like that where we had, maybe we had to take showers in a weird way because we had limited water.
Like I had to stand on my head that one time for my shower, remember?
Oh my gosh.
What?
That was weird.
No.
Oh. Wait, I haven't.
Showers in a weird way.
Taking showers in a weird way.
No, but where you have to like turn off the water and turn it back on. I think all of those little things that you experience together really bond you. When I was in high school, I got in a car accident with a few friends, and we were close friends, but we became super tight, like felt this super tight connection after the accident. And I think
it's like soldiers in combat.
So our life is like an accident right now, car accident. No, I think that anytime you share an experience with someone, good or bad, when you see something beautiful together, like, I mean, you guys were there last night when we saw Haystack Rock, and it was beautiful, right?
Yeah,
it was like,
it was amazing.
We all just stood there and like, whoa.
Nobody spoke. It was just too magical.
And we tried to take pictures, wasn't good enough. And it was like, that was a sacredness in that too. Like, we just experienced something that we can't capture, we can't bottle,
you can't describe
we
it.
can't communicate it to anybody, but we experience it together. And I think it's like all these sorts of little things like that add up and make, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's changed us.
Absolutely.
I don't think we can ever go back to the way we were living before.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one last question. So the name of our channel is Living a Good Story, and we don't feel that, you know, just living on the road, traveling full time is a good story. Everybody's good story is going to be different for them and their circumstances. Right. So what would be your piece of advice? Because I feel like you guys are a great example of living your good story with the adoption, with this, you know, going after your dreams with your business. So tell me, what would be your advice to people out there that are looking to change and start living their good story? What would be, and I want to hear from each of you individually. So maybe Megan, why don't you start?
Oh well, okay.
and what's
Don't
your...
take everything I'm going to say.
Okay, I'll just say that I don't remember like one at one point we had a conversation where we realized that the only reason we weren't doing something that we were excited about was because we were scared that it might not work out, like that we might fail. And we decided in that conversation, in the course of that conversation, that wasn't a good enough reason, and that we needed to start living that way.
Yeah.
That if we put it to that test, like, wait, there's something that we like and we would be excited about. If the only reason we don't want to do it is because we're afraid we might fail, then we can't not do it for that reason. You know what I mean? Like, then we have to do it.
Yes.
And we kind of decided that together, right?
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
no more. We're going to do things that we want to do, even if we might fail. And that was a big shift for us, because I've remembered on occasions, like, wait, is the only reason we're not doing it, though, because we're scared? Because that's not a good enough reason. And we kind of both agreed to, like, be committed to that idea.
Yeah.
And it really did change everything for us.
Wow.
And
That's
we've
really
talked about,
powerful.
like, putting things on the back burner, like reality.
Right. Yeah. Not focusing on the reality of the situation. That,
That sounds crazy, but it's so important.
you know, whether it's your banking, I don't know. You have to focus on the positive side.
Yeah.
But I think for my part, I think everybody, like Marissa said, everyone has their own thing they're going to do, or that they want to do with their lives, and it doesn't have to be the same as what we've done or what, you know, your neighbor does. But I think you find out what that thing is that you want or that you're hoping for, and then do something to get closer to that thing that you want to do. And there's this great talk by, is it Steve Harvey? Is that his name? The guy who hosts
Family Feud.
Family Feud.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
If
It's on
you
YouTube.
go Google Steve Harvey jump, I think that's what he says. He does this whole motivational talk to the studio audience there. I don't know, I guess he does this regularly. But he basically says, if there's something you want to do and you want to get out of your 9-to-5 job or whatever, he says, you got to jump. You can't sit on the edge of the cliff and look over and just look at it. You've got to jump and make that move in that direction. Do the scary thing that you need to do to make that happen. And I think for us, there's been multiple times in our lives where we've jumped off the edge without knowing if the parachute was going to open, you know, if we were going to land and die or what. But you just got to jump. So
Wow.
that I think is the
Yeah.
powerful thing
I
to do.
love that.
And I'll add that
cool.
when you do that, when you jump off cliffs, you know, metaphorically, it's just as terrifying to a lot of your friends and family as jumping off a real cliff.
Yeah,
They're-
people will.
Out of their love for you and their concern for you, they think you're killing yourself. You're destroying. You're pushing your family into ruin. And that's another thing. You just can't.
Can't waver. You can't waffle.
You can't. You
have
can't.
to-
You know. You got to know. Like, I appreciate that they love me enough to want to protect me, but this is the only way you can fly. Is
Yeah.
if you jump.
And
Yeah.
Michael and I did something that was interesting. We wrote out what would happen if what's the worst that could happen if
that's
we
it.
did, and what's the worst that could happen if we didn't. And it was really interesting to compare those. And like, we were like, well, the worst that could happen if we did is so small, and
Yeah.
things that could happen in our regular life anyways.
True.
Right.
And so that was really eye-opening to us as well. But I thought that was like really powerful and interesting what both of you guys had to say, and I
great.
love it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this interview as much as I did.
Yeah.
Megan and Michael are such an inspiration to both Michael and I, and dear friends. We love them so much, and
Love you
so
guys.
we are so grateful you guys came on our channel that we could interview and inspire others.
And if you're not following them,
Definitely
go look them up,
subscribe.
Knorpp and South.
North and South.
Yes,
On
definitely
YouTube.
subscribe. You will definitely be well
9
entertained.
kids, 2 adults living in a fifth wheel.
Awesomeness.
It's awesome.
So check out their channel. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great day.
See ya.
Back.
Bye.
Awesome.
Oh, those chairs are so uncomfortable.
My bum hurts.
I